To the details, embattled NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchibuisiaku has finally met Yoko's 50 million CD bail conditions after 4 days in custody, according to his lawyers. But he may not be going home just yet. His lawyer, Andy Apiakubi, says a fresh legal application filed Thursday is now delaying his release. Chairman Wontumi is under investigation for fraud, money laundering, and causing financial loss to the state, as well as a separate probe linked to international organized crime. Michael Ashali reports.
We begin at the tightly secured premises of the National Intelligence Bureau, where a crowd of supporters massed to demand the release of Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Enchibuisiaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. At this time, he has been in the custody of Yoko since Tuesday. Leading the charge were senior figures of the NPP and minority leaders in parliament. But even their presence wasn't enough to get access. Not even former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was allowed to see Wontumi.
I must put on record that the bail conditions that have been set for Chairman Wontumi's bail, 50 million Ghana cedis, is very onerous. I don't know how many people in Ghana can have property with 50 million.
Minority leader Alexander Fenyomarkin was left frustrated. Did they allow you to see him?
Not at all, like I said. He's nowhere to be found. They claim they couldn't bring him. Here. And he's still in the custody of NIB at their Kaokudi office.
The focus then shifted to Yoko's headquarters, where Wontumi's legal team had relocated. His lawyer, Andy Apiakubi, confirmed he now knew where his client was.
Oh yes, why not?
Where is he?
We had brought him to meet with Vice President, but the situation we saw was difficult to arrange this meeting, to pass through the crowd to get Vice President to see him and talk to him. So we had to take him back, and I told you that his condition of health requires attention.
After nearly 3 days of back and forth, the 50 million Ghana cedis bail and 2 sureties have been secured.
We have been able to provide the sureties. That one I can assure you. And I'm very grateful to Honorable Brian Champon, who has supported me to file the documents. He has brought his documents to which goes over and above the value of money that is required.
But even with that hurdle cleared, Chairman Wontumi is not walking free just yet.
Oh, well, obviously no.
So when?
I told you that we encountered a challenge. The challenge that needs to be addressed before we can go forward. In fact, they had agreed to do the inspection tonight. So all the officers are there. But the challenge that I faced is legal. We can't do it because, but I'm grateful to them. They agreed to wait for us to bring the documents for them to go inspect the properties.
So for now, the embattled Ashanti Regional Chairman remains behind Yoko's doors. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
Meanwhile, private legal practitioner Osman Alassan is urging Yoko to proceed with processes to release Chairman Wontumi even as the case remains in court. He spoke on Newsfile.
A fulfillment of a legal obligation or right, freeing someone of his liberty, is a legal duty on the people who are holding him. And so if you go to court, you file an application, I don't think that application should stop them from doing what they have to do under law if the circumstances avail those things.
Also on the program was Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at CDD Ghana, Dr. Koja Sante. He says the new court application seeking to vary the bill should not stop Yoko from processing the conditions now met by Wontumi's lawyers.
I think they could have. I think they could have and gone and said, well, because what was served on them is not an injunction, right? That, oh, stop, you cannot move on this process.
Exactly.
It could have said, well, we would complete, when we go to court, we would just say this, and if the court feels that it still be reviewed, it can still be reviewed. It's basically a documentation process.
Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafemakbo is defending Yoko's 50 million cedi bill with 2 sureties granted to Chairman Wontumi, rejecting claims by the NPP and minority that the terms are excessive. The South Dai MP says Yoko is simply exercising its legal discretion.
And let me tell you, I've been involved in Wontumi because Wontumi came up. And I was Wotumi's lawyer 40 years ago in this studio. Young lawyer, and I was the face of the trial. The difficulties we had. Everybody at the time said it was regular. So we can make the general submission that...
This was 54 million.
Yes. So the enormity of the bill terms depends on what is being assessed as being the subject of the offense being looked into. So people have had half a billion in this country as bill terms.
Away from that, President John Mahama has revealed that the new cocoa price will be announced in August, assuring farmers that the price will be very favorable. Speaking during his thank you tour in the Ahafo region, he stated that plans are underway to revamp the cocoa sector with a promise of incentives for hard-working farmers. The president added that his administration aims to add 200,000 hectares of cocoa farms to Ghana's output in order to boost their incomes of farmers across the country.
A way to revamp the collapsed cocoa sector. Incentives will be provided to our hard-working farmers to increase cocoa production. We aim to add 200,000 hectares of cocoa to Ghana's output in order to increase income of our farmers. And to cocoa farmers, the Cocoa Board Chief Executive has informed me that in August they will announce the new cocoa producer price. And I can assure you the price is going to be a very, very, very good price. So those of you who don't have cocoa farms, go and start looking for land and start planting cocoa.
The president also announced that government has signed a contract for the export of 2,000 workers under the Ghana Labour Export Program. He added that negotiations with other countries are ongoing, stressing that there will be fair selection of electricians, welders, mechanics, drivers and other skilled workers across the 16 regions.
We'll soon launch a Ghana Labour Export Program. There are labour shortages in many countries across the world. We are negotiating with several of those countries to export some of our professionals to work on fixed-term contracts abroad. This will include agricultural workers, construction workers, electricians, welders, mechanics, health workers, chefs and caterers, drivers, machine operators, warehouse supervisors, among others. A contract has already been signed with one country for the export of 2,000 temporary workers. Young qualified people will be selected fairly from all the 16 regions of our country, including Ahafo.
To the health sector now, the National Health Insurance will now fully cater for renal patients' dialysis treatment after Parliament approved more than 10 billion cedis for the National Health Insurance Authority. Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando explained that the 10.7 billion cedis approved was made possible after the uncapping of the National Health Insurance Fund, which has freed resources of the NHIS, now also offers free primary health care.
The next issue also has to do with the popular dialysis. You all recall that in the 2024 formula, we allocated 2 million Ghana cedis for dialysis. That is where there was this announcement or a policy direction that people with renal issues below the age of 18 and above the age of 16 above the age of 60 will be taken care of by the National Health Insurance Fund. That formula died on the 31st of December 2024. So beyond that, there was no policy in place for dialysis. Now with this formula, what we have done is that we have included the dialysis as part of the benefit package of the National Health Insurance Scheme.
The United Nations Population Fund and local health authorities have launched an initiative offering free obstetric fistula surgeries at 5 major hospitals in Ghana. Over 200,000 Ghanaian women suffer obstetric fistula, which causes uncontrollable leakage of urine or feces resulting from a hole between the birth canal and bladder or rectum. The initiative, led by the Partnership to End Fistula in Ghana, will repair some cases and provide comprehensive assistance and reintegration support to help survivors reclaim their lives. More in this report.
Over 800,000 births occur in Ghana every year. However, the process is not always smooth, as obstetric fistula haunts a lot of women who undergo childbirth. Victims across the country recount physical traumas and social isolation as the prolonged and obstructed labor leave aspiring mothers in an incontinent condition, with many even losing their babies.
I check everything was okay, but 1 month, 2 weeks, me call toilet, I be free.
A month after delivery, I started experiencing flow of excrete from my vaginal opening. I was shocked and sad. Because of this situation, I've been indoors. I don't go out and I've stopped working. I always feel shy getting out.
In a transformative effort to bring normalcy again to such Ghanaian women suffering from incontinence, the United Nations Population Fund and partnering health authorities have dedicated the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, Ho Teaching Hospital, Tamale West Hospital, Mercy Women Catholic Hospital, and the Upper West Regional Hospital for free fistula repairs and surgeries. The intervention forms part of a renewed effort of the UNFPA and other partners to eliminate obstetric fistula in Ghana by 2030. Program specialist reproductive health at the UNFPA, Della Bright-Glay, explains the intervention aims to bridge the backlogs of untreated cases and create more awareness about the life-threatening condition.
When something is shrouded in mystery, then it stirs up a lot of controversies, myths, misconceptions about what it is. But when people are aware of what fistula is, then they know that it is just one of those morbidities that arises.
During a commemorative event at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi on the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula, 50 women were screened. The free repair surgeries are estimated to cost each patient about $700,000, covering transportation, surgery, and 2 weeks of recovery care. Obstetric fistula surgeon at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, Dr. Bafo Opoku, recounting instances of the burden of the condition, indicated.
When it happens, because of the stigma associated with it, they go into hiding. And if they don't have good social support, we don't even find them. These are the few that we were able to find because they probably ended up delivering in hospitals. So in some places, you find them in the witch camps and all those places, and we can't assess them. So even though we are doing a lot of awareness, it's still hard to actually have the burden of disease, the actual burden of disease.
Part of recovery from the burdens of obstetric fistula, expressed their appreciation for the timely intervention. Clinton Yeboah reports for JoyNews.
Menstrual hygiene is a luxury for the majority of female prisoners who are already faced with the challenge of overcrowding. Without access to affordable sanitary products and adequate menstrual health education, these women struggle with menstrual hygiene. A superintendent of the Kumasi Central Prison is offering hope through the Nana Mpofua initiative by providing sanitary pads, education, and fostering a supportive environment to address inmates' menstrual challenges. Here's a report.
For female prisoners, the overcrowding is not only an issue of discomfort, but a recipe for menstrual hygiene complications. Obstetrician gynecologist at Menchia District Hospital, Dr. Kwame Esidu Danso, who provided the education, says unkempt health could be detrimental to the health of women. He admonishes constant education and engagement.
Being in a confined space, limited space, means that there's a potential of spread of infections. So because they have to be put in a very small space because of the unfortunate situation they are in. So if we are able to educate them, counsel them on how to prevent or break these barriers, definitely we reduce the burden.
These situations are being mitigated at the Kumasi Central Prisons under an advocacy and support drive by the Nana Ampofua Initiative. Founded and led by the Deputy Superintendent of Kumasi Central Prisons, Rose Ampofua Cheneboa Kodia, the initiative has offered extensive hygiene education to female prisoners. The intervention include a cervical cancer screening and the donation of sanitary pads, toiletries, sanitary materials and bottled water.
You know, when it comes to menstrual-related issues, the dignity is mostly not there. See where they are. They find themselves to be incarcerated. So that dignity as a woman, you don't even have it. And then there are people who come from far places who don't even know about the menstrual trends now. We have menstrual cups, we have the reusable pads. They don't even know about it. So I believe this initiative just seeks to educate and also inspire the inmates.
The outreach was in celebration of World Menstrual Hygiene Day. The Deputy Director of Prisons and officer in charge of Kumasi Central Prisons, James Ngenyele, is impressed with the internal assistance offered by staff like Rose to mitigate situations at the prisons.
Right. Oh yes, it will go a long way. You know, she's been very, she picked up this issue and I'm happy that she's making some inroads.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Remember, you're still watching JoyNews Prime. We have more for you after this break. Hello again. Deputy Minority Whip Habib Idrisu is demanding that government add an additional holiday as Muslims prepares to celebrate Eid al-Adha next Friday. The NDC, while in opposition, promised to add an additional holiday for Eid al-Fitr, but the Talon MP insists the promise was for both Eids. The government has declared a one-day holiday for Eid al-Fitr after delivering a two-day end of Ramadan holiday. Habib Idris wants answers.
The Muslim community that I'm giving you 2 days and then ended up giving us 1 day. So majority leader, you will have to liaise with the interior minister and let us know, because we are concerned, because it is what the president promised Ghanaians. And he has given the first one. Why is the second one not given? We need to know. I'm saying that Eid al-Fitr, the president had promised 2 days holiday for Eid. In Eid al-Fitr, he gave the 2 days. Eid al-Adha, which the interior minister said 6th June is a holiday for Eid al-Adha. And it is not 1 day that the president promised us. He said Eid, and we have 2 Eid. We have Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. So I don't know why you do one and you not give the other. So you need to brief us or talk to the minister responsible for interior why he has to give Muslims 1 day for Eid al-Adha when the president promised us 2 days.
In a major push for regional development, the Bono East RCC has directed all municipal and district chief executives to craft a comprehensive 4-year development plan targeting critical issues like farmer-herder conflicts, youth unemployment and sanitation. Regional Minister Francis Owusu-Enchi issued the directive today demanding actionable strategies that will directly benefit local communities. Anas Sabit has more.
A new dawn for development in the Bono East region as regional leaders have just concluded a crucial planning session that will help shape the future of the region from the year 2026 to 2029. In a no-nonsense address, Regional Minister Francis Owusu-Enchi put all MMDCs on notice. The time for passive leadership is over.
I will urge all municipal and district chief executives to provide leadership role by taking active interest in the plan preparation process. We must do a broad-based consultation process, including traditional authorities, businesses, youth groups, communities, refugee settlements.
The latest roadmap focuses on 5 game changers, ending the deadly farmer-herder clashes that threaten food security, amongst others.
The cattle herdsmen and crop farmer conflict and threat to food security and food systems.
This meeting, according to these new MMDCs, is a wake-up call and an eye-opener. Some of them shared with Joy News how helpful the session will be in helping shape their respective districts.
It was an opportunity for us to learn so many things about the things that we'll be doing in the next 4 years.
After today's meeting, we realized that if we put more effort there, we can do a lot. So there are so many leakages as we learned. So we try as much as possible to widen the net and also to make sure that the leakages within the collection will be patched out.
The challenge is clear. Turn these ambitious plans into life-changing results, and with food security, jobs and basic services at stake, all eyes will be on Bono East's leadership in the coming months. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit.
In a major push to reclaim food sovereignty and preserve vanishing biodiversity, farmers, elders and youth gathered for the first ever indigenous seed and food exhibition in the Banda district of the Bono region, organized by CIKOD, the Department of Agriculture and Banda District Assembly. The event showcased over 100 locally adapted seed varieties at risk of extinction. Organizers say this isn't just about crops. It's a lifeline for climate resilience, cultural identity, and fighting diet-related diseases. And Asabit again.
In the Banda district of the Bono region, a quiet revolution is sprouting, not with tractors or foreign hybrids, but with ancestral seeds passed through generations. This groundbreaking indigenous seed and food exhibition, spearheaded by the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development, CIKOD, with support from ActionAid, the Department of Agriculture and the Banda District Assembly, is a bold stand against disappearing biodiversity. For the Deputy Executive Director of CIKOD, Wilberforce Latte, the exhibition is a lifeline for vanishing crops at the front line of our food sovereignty.
We cannot promote food sovereignty if we don't talk about our local seeds. And our local seeds are very important when it comes to food sovereignty. The seeds are important for us because they are really important when it comes to climate change, and that's why we are looking at it.
CIKOD is on the back of this, putting up a seed bank to help in the preservation of these seeds.
So what we want to do is the seeds that they displayed, we want to see how we can support them to put up a seed bank or a seed center where they can really preserve these seeds.
Regional Director of Agriculture, Patrick Della Newman, says it is time to rethink what eating healthy really means.
Whatever we take in is medicine. It goes to heal our body or it goes to poison our body. So the choice is for us to go back to the food that will nourish our body rather than developing the taste for foreign foods.
At the heart of this revival is Banda's former DCE, Honorable Mary Conner, who beyond years of community services is today leading a seed-saving army as the chairperson of the organizing committee.
And that's our package by way of JoyNews Prime. I am Pius Kojobaka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Always a delight serving you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.